Very good morning, students. Yesterday, the last few minutes, class was interrupted due to some technical issues. We regret for that inconvenience. Anyway, we'll start with yesterday's mechanism, that is SN mechanism. Yesterday I was explaining about SN2 mechanism. Immediately, suddenly it was stopped. So, no problem. I'll start with SN2 mechanism. Yesterday I have mentioned about this SN2 mechanism. It is bimolecular nucleophilic substitution reaction. Bimolecular nucleophilic substitution reaction. So how this mechanism takes place in hydrolysis of different types of alkyl halides. For this, to explain about SN2 mechanism, one example I will consider, that is hydrolysis of methyl bromide. Hydrolysis of methyl bromide. What is the IUPAC name of this one? Bromomethane. Hydrolysis of methyl bromide takes place. You can observe this is CH3Br methyl bromide. If it is treated with potassium hydroxide, aqueous potassium hydroxide, it gets converted into CH3OH plus KBr. Now this compound is methyl alcohol. IUPAC name is methanol. This is bromomethane. Bromomethane. That is IUPAC. Common name is methyl bromide. Now this is the reaction. Now this particular reaction goes according to SN2 mechanism. So what is the mechanism involved in case of SN2 reaction? Mechanism. How this reaction takes place? Directly there is no formation of any product. Every organic reaction is associated with one or the other mechanism, you know very well. Now this molecule methyl bromide is there and potassium hydroxide. First of all, KOH, that is in aqueous medium, it gets dissociated into K plus and OH minus. Tell me which is nucleophile here? Naturally this is the nucleophile species OH minus. Now this nucleophile attacks on the methyl bromide. Remember one thing very clearly, SN2 mechanism takes place in only one step, but SN1 mechanism proceeds with the two steps. Now here this is carbon, hydrogen is there, this is hydrogen, okay, this is hydrogen, this is bonded to bromine. Now this is methyl bromide, what we have considered here. Now this OH minus nucleophile, no doubt Br is also nucleophile, but OH minus is a stronger nucleophile compared to the halide ion, that is Br minus ion. Now this OH minus attacks on the particular molecule that is opposite to the bromine atom, that is from this particular direction, opposite to the bromine atom. When this particular reaction takes place, when OH minus attacks on the carbon atom, the bonding between carbon and this bromine gets weaker. Just I will show that one. This is carbon, hydrogen, it is hydrogen, okay. This is also found to be hydrogen. The bonding which is present between carbon and bromine gets weakened. So this is carbon bromine, and here I will write this particular group is found to be OH. Now here in this particular case, carbon is holding 5 different atoms or group of atoms. 3 hydrogen atoms are there, 1 bromine atom is there, 1 OH group is there. In that case, the particular state of the molecule is generally called as the transition state. It is commonly known as transition state. In this transition state, carbon is having 5 valency. Carbon is bonded to 3 hydrogen atom and bromine atom. This is found to be OH. It is somewhat less stable state. It is commonly called as a transition state of the molecule. Once a transition state takes place, the life of the transition state is going to be very less. Immediately, this molecule gets converted. Carbon bromine bond is going to be completely cleaved out. It is going to be completely breaks out. When carbon bromine bond is breaks out, the carbon OH bond formation takes place. So the molecule, this is carbon, hydrogen, it is hydrogen, it is hydrogen. So what I should write? This is connected to OH group directly. Plus Br minus ion gets separated here. Br minus ion gets separated. Here this is CH3OH, this is going to be CH3OH. Whatever Br minus is produced here, that will further combine with K plus to produce same KBr as in the reaction. So it is a process of conversion of methyl bromide into what? This is methyl alcohol. Now this compound is called as methanol compound. Now the conversion of this particular methyl bromide or bromomethane, methyl bromide, bromomethane, both are same. Conversion of this methyl bromide into methyl alcohol or methanol takes place with what mechanism? SN2 mechanism. This particular step is going to be, this conversion is commonly proceeds via SN2 mechanism. So what is the configuration with respect to this? Here, if you remember the SN1 mechanism, in case of SN1 mechanism, the incoming nucleophile attacks from the existing nucleophile as well as from the both sides, from the same side as well as from the opposite side. That leads to what? Retention of configuration and inversion of configuration. When the retention as well as inversion is present, the particular product is commonly called as racemic mixture. Whether this particular configuration, conversion of this molecule into this one, whether it is going to be considered as a retention or corresponding inversion process, here OH minus attacks from the opposite side. Wherever the OH minus attacks from the opposite side, this one is commonly called as inversion of configuration. If it is not visible, just write here, it is inversion of configuration. Remember, SN2 mechanism proceeds through the inversion of configuration, that is, the incoming nucleophile attacks opposite to the existing nucleophile always in case of SN2 mechanism. So it is commonly called as what? The inversion of configuration. So this is the particular reaction. And here another important, I forgot to mention here, in case of this particular hydrolysis of methyl bromide, the particular solvent should be either it is DMSO. Wherever the solvent is referred to be as DMSO, dimethyl sulfoxide, or if it is found to be dimethyl formamide. This is an example for the polar aprotic solvent. Wherever such type of polar aprotic solvent is present, or it is also in presence of CH3COCH3. If the reaction is proceeding in presence of this particular solvent, you remember that reaction proceeds via SN2 mechanism. What is DMSO? Just to copy it, dimethyl sulfoxide. The structure of DMSO, dimethyl sulfoxide, this is CH3, this is S double bond O, this is going to be CH3. It is dimethyl sulfoxide molecule. So this one is also a polar solvent, but it is aprotic. There is no release of proton. Next one is a dimethyl formamide. Dimethyl formamide. Dimethyl formamide, this is CH3, this is N, next one is CH3, next C double bond OH. Now this molecule is called as dimethyl formamide, or it is also in presence of acetone. So all these particular solvents are called as the polar aprotic solvent. Polar aprotic solvent. SN1 reaction takes place in presence of polar protic solvent. SN2 mechanism proceeds in presence of polar aprotic solvent. Even another one solvent, that is HMPA, that is also another one particular solvent, hexamethyl phosphonamide. This is also one of the solvent which is commonly used in case of SN2 reaction. So in any particular reaction, if solvent is mentioned like this, and if it is going to be generally primary alkyl halide, then the reaction takes place with what? SN2 mechanism. This is sufficient for board examination. If you ask, explain SN2 mechanism in a particular example, means first you should write the reaction, next one the mechanism. This particular mechanism takes place in only one step, and this step is commonly called as RDS. Only single step is there. In case of this particular RDS, rate determining step, how many molecules are present? It is the nucleophile, next one is going to be the alkyl halide. So here we can write rate is equal to rate constant, that is K, into Rx alkyl halide to the power 1 and the nucleophile, that is to the power 1. So this particular reaction has got two molecules in case of RDS, but in case of SN1 it takes place in two steps. First step is slow step, it was considered as RDS. There the particular rate of the reaction depends on the concentration of alkyl halide, but here rate of reaction depends on both alkyl halide as well as nucleophile. Just remember, because OH minus is also there, methyl bromide is also there, so this is going to be considered as RDS. Whatever the molecules are present in rate determining step or the slow step, those molecules will affect the rate of reaction. So rate of reaction depends upon concentration of alkyl halide as well as the concentration of what? This particular nucleophile. So this is about the SN2 mechanism which takes place in various types of molecules. Let us discuss some of the characteristics related to this particular SN2 mechanism. Already we have completed about characteristics that is related to SN1 mechanism. Now we will discuss about some of the important points related to this particular SN2 mechanism. After discussion of the characteristics based on SN2 mechanism, then you will get the exact difference between what? SN1 mechanism as well as SN2 mechanism. Just to copy it. Copy it first. Okay, SN2 mechanism. Okay. So what are the important points related to this SN2 mechanism? Important points related to SN2 mechanism. First point related to SN2 mechanism, number one, this particular reaction is going to be bimolecular. It is bimolecular nucleophilic substitution reaction. Bimolecular nucleophilic substitution reaction. SN1 was unimolecular nucleophilic substitution reaction. Second one, order of this particular reaction is 2. It follows second order kinetics because its rate depends upon the concentration of both alkyl halide as well as nucleophile, so order is 22. Molecularity of this reaction is also 2. How many molecules are present in RDS? That is alkyl halide as well as nucleophile, so molecularity is also found to be 2. The exact difference between order and molecularity will be studying in kinetics topic. Next one, very important point. Order and molecularity is found to be 2. So rate of the reaction is depending upon the concentration of alkyl halide as well as the concentration of nucleophile. In SN1 reaction, rate of the reaction was depending only on the concentration of alkyl halide, but here nucleophile also plays an important role in determining the rate of reaction. You know what is meant by rate of reaction? The time that is going to be taking place, at what particular time the rate of the reaction or particular reaction is going to be completing. So next one related to this SN2 mechanism, this particular SN2 mechanism takes place in polar aprotic solvent. Already I have mentioned about this one. It proceeds in presence of polar aprotic solvent. The best example for this one is DMSO, dimethyl sulfoxide, DMF, dimethyl formamide. Next one, it is acetone is there. So many compounds, so many solvents. HMPK, hexamethyl phosphonamide. In presence of all this aprotic solvent, polar aprotic solvent, this particular reaction takes place. And I am comparing even simultaneously with SN1 mechanism also. SN1 mechanism takes place in presence of polar aprotic solvent. Best example is either water or methanol or ethanol. So those are the examples. Next one, this particular SN2 mechanism favors, it takes place easily, favors in presence of electron withdrawing groups. Wherever the compound contains electron withdrawing group, in that case SN2 mechanism takes place very easily. The important reason why it favors in presence of electron withdrawing group, the presence of electron withdrawing group, presence of electron withdrawing group increases the stability of transition state. Just now in case of mechanism you have come across with the transition state. That stability of transition state is going to be increased in presence of electron withdrawing group. But SN1 mechanism was taking place according to the formation of carbocation. Greater the stability of carbocation, greater is the rate of SN1 mechanism. But here instead of carbocation, formation of transition takes place. So this transition state becomes more stable in presence of electron withdrawing group. Here in case of this one, no rearrangement takes place. There is no rearrangement in SN2 mechanism, SN2 reaction. No rearrangement. Why there is no rearrangement in case of SN2 mechanism? You know very well, rearrangement takes place only if the intermediate is referred to be as carbocation. Only in case of carbocation the rearrangement is possible, but in case of SN2 mechanism, since there is no formation of carbocation, so rearrangement is not possible in case of SN2 mechanism. Next one after this, the order of reactivity of alkyl halides. Order of reactivity of alkyl halide, generally it follows as it is the methyl halide CH3X. Next one is going to be primary alkyl halide. It was secondary. Next one is going to be tertiary. If you take very simple alkyl halides, primary, secondary, and tertiary, now this order is generally followed. Methyl halides are more reactive compared to primary alkyl halides, and tertiary alkyl halides are going to be least reactive in nature. But what is the order of reactivity in case of SN1 mechanism? It is exactly reverse. Their tertiary is more reactive and methyl halide is less reactive, but it is going to be reverse in case of this SN2 mechanism. Next point related to this particular SN2 mechanism is this particular reaction involves, this particular mechanism or reaction involves the formation of what? Inversion of configuration. Just now I explained in case of mechanism. The inversion of configuration takes place in case of this one. What is the point related to SN1 mechanism? SN1 mechanism results in the formation of racemic mixture. Yesterday we have discussed, but it is not always correct. In all the molecules there is no formation of racemic mixture. Yesterday I have explained with one example also how the formation of racemic mixture is not compulsory, but generally it results in the formation of both retention as well as inversion. So it forms a racemic mixture, but here it involves in the formation of what? The inversion of configuration. So these are the some of the points related to what? SN2 reaction. Let us consider some of the examples, some of the particular molecules in which the particular rate of SN2 reaction is maximum. If we consider some of the compounds, some examples will consider here. Example, suppose if I go with the one compound, this is CH3Cl. Fine. It is CH3, next one CH2Cl. Third molecule is going to be CH3, this is CH, next one CH3, and this is Cl. And fourth compound is, it is CH3, it is CO, next one CH2Cl. These are the compounds of alkyl halides. When these are the compounds of alkyl halides, what is the rate of SN2 in case of these four compounds? Which one undergoes SN2 reaction at a faster rate and which one undergoes SN2 reaction at a slower rate? Let us analyze this compound. This one is going to be simple, very primitive methyl halide, methyl chloride. Next one, this bond is cleaved here, this bond is also cleaved here. This one forms a primary alkyl halide. Now here this bond is cleaved means it forms a secondary alkyl halide. This is methyl, primary and secondary. Already I have mentioned here, methyl halide is more reactive compared to primary, methyl halide is more reactive when compared to primary, and primary is more reactive when compared to secondary. Now this is very clear with respect to first three molecules. If you are observing about the fourth molecule CH3CO CH2Cl, basically it is not an alkyl halide. It contains an carbonyl group. Ketonic group is present here. Now in presence of this particular ketonic group, whether the rate of SN2 mechanism is going to be less when compared to this one or more when compared to this one. Now where we have to place this particular molecule CH3CO CH2Cl, whether it is having a greater rate towards SN2 or it is having slower rate compared to what these three molecules. Okay. Now if you are observing carefully, this group is going to be considered as an electron withdrawing group. When I say electron withdrawing group, just to concentrate here, it favors in presence of electron withdrawing group. Just clearly I mentioned. Why it favors in presence of electron withdrawing group? So it increases the particular stability of what transition state. So wherever the particular compound is having electron withdrawing group, any type of electron withdrawing group, in that case rate of SN2 is maximum. Now the rate of SN2 mechanism is maximum in case of fourth one. Next one is going to be what? After 4, next one is first one, next one is second one, next one is going to be third one. So this is the order of hydrolysis of these particular halogen compounds towards SN2 reaction. SN2 is maximum in case of this one and SN2 is maximum in case of this one, and it is minimum or slowest in case of this particular alkyl halide because it is going to be secondary alkyl halide. Like that, number of examples we will come across about the hydrolysis of alkyl halides based on SN1 mechanism as well as what? SN2 mechanism. Fine? Is it clear? So this particular example clearly indicates the reactivity of different types of alkyl halides. Okay? Next one, if you consider another example, second example, if I go with second example, this is CH3 CH2Cl. CH3 CH2, this is Br. Okay, this is, you can go with the first compound, it is second compound. Next one CH3 CH2F, it is third compound, and CH3 CH2, this is I, it is fourth compound. What is the order of reactivity of these particular compounds towards SN2 mechanism? Which compound undergoes hydrolysis very easily compared to another one? One important point related to SN, for SN1 as well as SN2, the particular reaction in case of alkyl halides having different halogen atom, it is proceeding in this particular direction. RBr, next one RCl, after this one it is REF. It is having alkyl iodides are having greater rate, whereas alkyl fluorides are having lowest rate. It is mainly because of better leaving group. Already I have mentioned about the presence of better leaving group. Iodide is a better leaving group, fluoride is going to be a poor leaving group. In presence of this particular better leaving group, the hydrolysis takes place very easily. It is applicable both for SN1 and SN2 reaction. So naturally here the compound fourth one is having iodine, that is a better leaving group, so hydrolysis is very fast. Next one is going to be which one? Second one bromide. After this one, first it is going to be chloride. Next one it is going to be third one, it is fluoride. So this is the order of hydrolysis towards SN2 mechanism. Suppose if any alkyl halide containing tertiary or other particular groups having different types of halogen atoms, same order should be followed. Iodides are more reactive and fluorides are found to be what? Least reactive in case of this particular SN2 reaction. Like that, so many examples we come across in case of this particular SN2 mechanism. If you go with another particular compound, this is one compound, it is CH2 and Br, and another compound, this one, it is CH2, this is Br. Okay. Now if you observe these two compounds, out of these two compounds, which one undergoes SN2 reaction very easily and which one undergoes SN2 reaction very easily? This is, I will consider this one as this is going to be the first compound, this is going to be the second compound. Which compound undergoes SN1 mechanism very easily, and similarly which compound undergoes SN2 mechanism very easily. You observe these two compounds carefully. Here also bromine, here also bromine. It is also one cyclic group, this is also one cyclic group, but here there is a presence of what double bond resonance is possible. When this particular halide is going to be lost out, there is a formation of one stable carbocation. What's the name of this carbocation? Benzyl carbocation. Since benzyl carbocation is going to be more stable, whenever there is a formation of more stable carbocation, usually that particular molecule undergoes SN1 reaction very easily. So out of first and second one, here there is no question of resonance, hence carbocation is not stable compared to this one, hence SN1 reaction is maximum with respect to which compound? It is second compound. Next one, SN1 reaction is maximum with respect to this particular halide. Whether SN2 reaction is maximum with respect to the first compound or second compound. Very interestingly, the rate of SN2 mechanism is also maximum in case of second one itself. Got confused? No. As I have explained, rate of SN1 reaction is maximum with respect to second compound because of benzylic carbocation. Rate of SN2 mechanism is also maximum with respect to second compound because with respect to SN2 mechanism, if you observe, there is no formation of carbocation, but this group is going to be considered as an electron withdrawing group. Now this group is not a stronger electron withdrawing group, but this group is going to be considered as a stronger electron withdrawing group. In presence of stronger electron withdrawing group, the stability of transition state increases, so the compound undergoes hydrolysis easily by SN2 mechanism. Substitution takes place by SN2 mechanism. So for both SN1 and SN2 mechanism, the second compound takes place very easily. It undergoes SN1 as well as SN2 mechanism. Then there will be slight confusion, I think so here. How it is possible that a single compound undergoes both by SN1 and SN2 mechanism? Already I have mentioned, for SN1 reaction, order of reactivity is tertiary greater than secondary greater than primary greater than methyl halide. For SN2 reaction, just I mentioned about the order of reactivity of alkyl halides. There it is there. This is SN2 mechanism. It is methyl halide greater than primary greater than secondary greater than what? This is tertiary alkyl halides. When this is the reverse order of reactivity of alkyl halides towards SN1 as well as SN2, then how this single molecule undergoes both SN1 as well as SN2 mechanism? Then it is one thing you remember, when the molecule satisfies both the conditions, that is towards SN1 as well as SN2 reaction, when the molecule or the compound satisfies both SN1 as well as SN2 mechanism, then that molecule may undergo either by SN1 or by SN2 mechanism. There is no condition that single molecule or a particular single compound, it should not undergo by SN1, SN2, that is going to be wrong. It may undergo both by SN1 and SN2 provided if it satisfies the condition, that is SN1 and SN2 mechanism. Once again I will explain why it undergoes SN1 mechanism very easily when compared to this one, because of the formation of benzylic carbocation. That formation of carbocation is going to be taking place in SN1, right? Then why it undergoes even SN2 mechanism? This one undergoes SN2 mechanism because of the presence of electron withdrawing group. It is not because of carbocation. It undergoes SN2 mechanism. It is mainly because of electron withdrawing group. Suppose if the compound, if the single compound has got stable carbocation, if it forms a stable carbocation, if the compound is having stronger electron withdrawing group, then that molecule undergoes both by SN1 as well as what? SN2 mechanism. Remember carefully. So out of these two molecules, so the second molecule undergoes both SN1 as well as SN2 mechanism easily. If you have any type of doubts, you can raise those doubts. We'll try to clarify your doubts. Fine. Another example, if you consider another particular example. So before going to example, if the compound is going to be tertiary alkyl halide, pure tertiary alkyl halide. If the compound is going to be pure tertiary alkyl halide, usually it undergoes by SN1 mechanism because tertiary carbocation is going to be more stable. If the compound is going to be methylic halide or the primary alkyl halide, usually it undergoes by what? SN2 mechanism. Usually it undergoes by SN2 mechanism. And if the particular compound, wherever the solvent is found to be polar protic solvent, here usually in case of this one conditions are not applicable. Suppose if there is a difference of molecule, if the difference of solvent is mentioned, if the compound if the reaction is taking place in presence of polar protic solvent, usually the product is SN1 product. And if the particular reaction takes place in presence of polar aprotic solvent, then in that case the particular product is SN2 product. SN1 is preferably takes place in presence of polar protic solvent, SN2 takes place in case of polar aprotic solvent. This is quite common in case of different molecules. If we go with one example, okay, this is Br. This is found to be Br. If this particular reaction takes place, this is KCl, potassium cyanide in presence of water. This is potassium cyanide in presence of DMF. What is the nature of the product in case of this particular reaction? Whether product is found to be same in presence of those different types of condition or different product takes place. This is a respective alkyl halide. It is 2-bromopropane. It is going to be having a particular wedge structure. Now if you observe the condition here, potassium cyanide and H2O is there, potassium cyanide and DMF. Potassium cyanide in presence of polar solvent means the particular reaction takes place via SN1. Then what are the products in case of SN1? Whether it forms retention of configuration or inversion of configuration. In SN1, you know very well, there is a formation of both retention as well as what? Inversion of configuration. So the product in case of this reaction, product in case of SN1, why we are following here SN1? Because solvent is polar protic solvent. In presence of polar protic solvent, it is SN1. Now here the particular product is going to be Cl. So this is one configuration is going to be referred to as retention. Next one is going to be inversion. When retention and inversion takes place means it is going to be SN1. Dimethyl formamide is going to be there. Wherever the solvent is going to be dimethyl formamide, usually that particular reaction takes place through SN2 mechanism. In case of SN2 mechanism, the particular product is going to be this one because it is the inversion of configuration. It takes place opposite side. If it is going to be having a wedge structure, it is going to be dash structure. So it is inversion of configuration. This is inversion and this one is what? Retention. It takes place from the same side. Here it takes place from the opposite side. So these are the set of different products in SN1 and SN2. How we have identified here SN1? Because of the nature of solvent, and here it is SN2 because of DMF. DMF is an example for polar aprotic solvent. In presence of polar aprotic solvent, SN2 is favorable. In presence of polar protic solvent, SN1 reaction is favorable. Clear? So, wherever the alkyl halide is found to be tertiary, once again I will clarify this one. If the alkyl halide is found to be tertiary, suppose in case of that one conditions are not applicable, tertiary alkyl halide preferably it undergoes by SN1. If it is primary alkyl halide, without observing the conditions, we have to go with the respective what? The SN2 mechanism. Suppose if the compound is having such type of secondary alkyl halide, since secondary alkyl halide undergoes by both SN1 and SN2 mechanism, then presence of solvent is very important. If it is polar protic solvent, H2 is an example for polar protic solvent. Polar protic solvent is helpful in case of SN1 mechanism. It will block the particular existing halide ion. For blocking the existing halide ion and also for the ionization of the alkyl halide, polar protic solvent is required, but this one takes place in presence of polar aprotic solvent. Here inversion of configuration, there it is racemic mixture which consists of both what? Retention as well as inversion of configuration. This is retention and this one is going to be inversion of configuration takes place. Students, this is about SN2 mechanism. After understanding, after dealing with SN1 as well as SN2 mechanism, I have made the points with respect to SN1 and SN2 mechanism. Then you can make out some of the point of differences between SN1 and SN2 mechanism. Probably that question may be there in case of board examination, that is helpful for even competitive examination also. Points of differences between what? SN1 and SN2 based on the characteristics of SN1 and SN2 reaction. Fine. This is about complete nucleophilic substitution reactions. In this nucleophilic substitution reactions, first we have discussed about so many types of substitution reaction, substitution by OH, substitution by alkoxy group, so many different substitution. After that, optical isomerism to know about retention, inversion, configuration, racemic mixture, optical isomerism, R configuration, S configuration. At the end, we have discussed about two important mechanisms, SN1 mechanism and SN2 mechanism. Remember, okay? So this is about complete one set of reaction, that is nucleophilic substitution reactions. So from yesterday I am explaining somewhat slowly as per the students' feedback. Somewhat slowly I am explaining. So this is the slowest rate of explanation with respect to my teaching. So after this substitution reactions, nucleophilic substitution reactions, next set of reaction, that is second one, elimination reactions. Elimination reactions. After elimination reactions, next we have to go with action with metals. Elimination reactions. What are elimination reactions? Elimination refers to what? Removal of atoms or group of atoms. Here also in case of the compounds of alkyl halides, there is some elimination of some of the atoms or group of atom takes place from the molecule to form the respective product. So that is commonly called as elimination reactions. In case of this one elimination reaction, there are three different types. First one is commonly called as, it is alpha elimination reaction. First reaction is alpha elimination reaction. Elimination, remember, elimination or removal of atoms or group of atom takes place. It is also called as 1,1 elimination. This type of elimination reaction is given by gem dihalides, or gem trihalides. Wherever dihalides and trihalides are there, usually those compounds will undergo alpha elimination reaction. And in case of this particular alpha elimination reaction, product is usually an intermediate, that is carbene. Remember, carbene is a product obtained in case of alpha elimination compound. If I go with an example, one simple example, CH2X2. CH2X2 is an example for gem dihalide. It is a gem dihalide. Two halogen atoms are present on the same carbon atom. And in case of this elimination, alpha elimination, this is carbon, this is hydrogen, it is hydrogen, it is halogen, this is halogen, right? In case of this particular alpha elimination or 1,1 elimination, elimination of atoms or group of atoms takes place from the same carbon atom. 1,1 elimination means it is very clear. So elimination takes place from the first carbon atom itself. One hydrogenate, one halogenate atom is eliminated in presence of a particular medium. So here it gets, after elimination of one hydrogenate, one halogen, what is the compound left out? This is CHX with a lone pair of electron. And here it is H plus, this is X minus. Now this species is commonly called as what? Carbene. Carbene is very important reactive intermediate. This is about gem dihalide. Similarly, if I go with another example, CHX3. CHX3 is an example for gem trihalide. In case of gem trihalide, if the elimination takes place, this is carbon, it is hydrogen, this is X and this is X. All the three halogen atoms are present in the same carbon atom, so it is commonly called a gem trihalide. Now here also one elimination takes place, this hydrogen and this halogen is going to be eliminated. So as a result, this compound is CH2. This species is going to be CH2 plus H plus and X minus. H plus and X minus. Now this is also, these two species are going to be referred to as what? Carbene. Carbenes are, here it consists, carbon atom is having lone pair of electron. By seeing this lone pair of electron, usually one confusion will be there. What is that? These species are not considered as nucleophile. Usually wherever lone pair of electrons are present, those are considered as nucleophiles. But these are electrophiles. These are found to be electrophiles. Why these are going to be considered as electrophiles? Carbon has not satisfied its octet. What is the number of electrons present around this carbon atom? The total number of electrons present around carbon atom, this is 2, this is 2, this is 2. It is having sextate configuration. In any particular species, if the atom is having sextate configuration, it has not reached it to octet configuration, so that is going to be electron deficient species. Because of electron deficient species, it is considered as electrophile. Generally, by seeing this lone pair, students will get confused. So wherever lone pair of electrons are going to be present, it is nucleophile. It is not nucleophile. It is an electrophilic species and it is having sextate configuration. So if the elimination of atoms or group of atom takes place from the single carbon atom, it is called as alpha elimination and it is called as 1-1 elimination. Clear? This is the first type of elimination reaction generally we come across. In some of the mechanism, we will come across with the presence of intermediate, that is going to be what? The carbene is an intermediate. Then second elimination reaction is going to be, second elimination reaction, it is beta elimination reaction. Beta elimination reaction. If alpha elimination is referred to be as 1-1 elimination, beta elimination is commonly referred to be as 1-2 elimination. It is also called as alpha elimination, that is alpha beta elimination or simply beta elimination reaction. What is the meaning of beta elimination reaction? Here, atoms or group of atoms eliminated from the adjacent carbon atom, that is from the first carbon atom as well as from the second carbon atom. If atoms are group of atoms are eliminated from the first and second carbon atom or alpha and beta carbon atom, it is commonly called as what? The beta elimination reaction. If you observe this particular reaction, CH3, this is CH, next one, this is CH2 and here Br is there. This is CH2. Now in case of this particular reaction, if CH3, CH2, CH2Br, it is called as 1-bromopropane. In this 1-bromopropane, if this is found to be alpha and if this is found to be beta, from this particular, here I will mention this particular group CH2 as, here I will consider this one also as, this is hydrogen, same. If the elimination of atoms or group of atom takes place from the alpha carbon atom as well as beta carbon atom, after elimination of this hydrogen and bromine, what is the product here? CH3CH. This is double bond CH2 plus this is found to be HBr. Hydrogen bromide is not produced here, some other molecules simply here instead of this one H plus and what is this? Br minus. Now the elimination of atoms or group of atom takes place from the alpha as well as beta carbon atom. It is commonly called as beta elimination reaction. If the elimination takes place from the adjacent carbon atom, if the elimination takes place from the single carbon atom alpha, elimination takes place from the adjacent carbon atom, it is alpha beta elimination or simply beta elimination or what? 1-2 elimination reaction. Fine. The third type of reaction is commonly called as the gamma elimination reaction. Gamma elimination reaction. Then what is the gamma elimination reaction? Here the elimination of atoms or group of atom takes place from the first and third carbon atom. If I go with an example in case of this one, this is CH2. next one CH2, this is CH2, this is Br, Br. This particular carbon atom, if you consider as alpha, this is beta, this is going to be gamma. Or this is alpha, beta and gamma, makes no difference. When the elimination takes place in case of this molecule, elimination of atoms or group of atom here, one difference. Elimination of usually similar type of atoms or group of atom takes place in case of this molecule after elimination of this particular bromine, presence of a particular reagent. Now this is CH2, this is CH2 and this one CH2. What's the name? Usually here cyclic compound formation takes place. It is called as cyclopropane compound. Cyclopropane. Usually this one takes place in presence of Zn. The product is going to be what? ZnBr2. So this type of elimination is commonly called as gamma elimination. What is the difference between alpha, beta and gamma? It's very simple. Alpha elimination, where elimination of atoms or group of atom takes place from the same carbon atom. In beta elimination, elimination of atoms or group of atom takes place from the adjacent carbon atom. Gamma elimination is one where elimination of atoms or group of atom takes place from, that is 1 and 3 carbon atom. It is going to be what? Gamma elimination reaction. Like that, different. These are three important types of elimination reaction: alpha, beta and gamma. Then after this particular alpha, beta and corresponding gamma, we have to concentrate upon this particular beta elimination generally. Now our discussion is going to be basically concentrated on beta elimination reaction. What is the meaning of beta elimination reaction? Just now we have discussed. Then we have to discuss about different types of beta elimination reaction. We copy this one. Different types of beta elimination reaction. Copy it. Right. Next one. Types of beta elimination reactions. Beta elimination reactions. What are the different types of beta elimination reactions? Number one, it is E1 reaction. E1 reaction. Second one, it is E2 reaction. E2 reaction. Third one, it is E1 Cb reaction. Cb refers to here conjugate base. What is E1 reaction? What is E2 reaction? And what is E1 Cb reaction? Mainly our discussion is concentrated on E1 and this E2 reaction. E1 reaction is generally known as what? Unimolecular elimination reaction. Similarly, E2 reaction is commonly known as bimolecular elimination reaction. It is unimolecular elimination reaction and this one is going to be bimolecular elimination reactions. Then what is the difference between E1 as well as E2 reaction? Under what condition E1 reaction takes place? Under what condition the particular molecule undergoes elimination by E2 reaction? There are some set of conditions. Different conditions are applicable for that one. So based upon those conditions, if you discuss about that condition, that characteristics, then we can identify whether the molecule undergoes elimination by E1 or this particular E2 reaction. Now in case of E1 as well as E2 reaction, I will make this some points of differences so that you will be differentiating between E1 and this particular E2 reaction. Here I will take this one as the E1 reaction and here at this side I'll mention about E2 reaction. First, I'll explain about this E1 and E2 reaction. First point. If you go with this one, first point, it is unimolecular elimination reaction. Already I mentioned. This one is number 1, bimolecular elimination reaction. Bimolecular elimination reaction. Next one, order is equal to molecularity. Order is equal to molecularity, that is equal to 1. Here also, as in SN1 and SN2. Here also there is a kind of similarity between SN1, SN2 as well as E1 and E2. Second one, order is equal to molecularity. Order is equal to molecularity, that is equal to 2. That is a bimolecular, this is an unimolecular. Third one, rate of reaction is equal to K into, it is only concentration of alkyl halide. It depends upon the concentration of alkyl halide. Here, rate of the particular reaction depends on concentration of alkyl halide as well as the concentration of a base. In SN1 and SN2 reaction, instead of particular base, we used to mention nucleophile, but here base is going to be used. When it is going to be considered as a nucleophile, when the substance behaves like a particular base, the same substance can act as nucleophile as well as a base. Base is a one particular species which removes the proton centrally. Any particular substance, any particular negatively charged species or neutral molecule which is able to remove the particular proton or positively charged species, it is generally acting as a base. Then wonder what condition it is acting as a nucleophile. Nucleophile is a particular species which attack on the what? Electron deficient center. In any particular case, if the particular substance attacks on the electron deficient center, then it is going to be considered as nucleophile. Remember, a single substance acts as a both base as well as the corresponding nucleophile. So here, rate of the reaction depends upon the concentration of alkyl halide as well as the concentration of base. Formation of carbocation takes place in E1 reaction. Formation of carbocation takes place. In case of this one, number 4 point, formation of transition state takes place. Formation of transition state takes place. This is also referred to be as the formation of an baby alkene. Baby alkene. Probably come across that one. Here formation of carbocation takes place, there it is formation of transition state takes place. Here rearrangement is possible, rearrangement may take place. Rearrangement in the sense what? Conversion of lower stability carbocation into higher stability carbocation. Primary into secondary, primary into tertiary, that is rearrangement takes place because of the formation of carbocation. In case of this one, rearrangement does not take place. Rearrangement does not take place. There is no rearrangement in case of E2 reaction. Number 6, very important, presence of weak base. Presence of weak base followed by this particular heating, very important point. This particular E1 reaction takes place in presence of a weak base, and that is supported by any particular reaction which is accompanied by a weak base followed by heating is mentioned. Remember that reaction undergoes elimination by what? E1 reaction. And here in case of E2 reaction, this one takes place in presence of strong base. In presence of strong base. Sometimes heating is required, sometimes heating is not required. That is not the condition. The mandatory condition, this one takes place in presence of what? Strong base. Example for this particular weak base is found to be, example, weak base. You can go with the CH3OH. You can go with the C2H5OH. You can go with even water also. So all these particular substances are referred to weak bases. And in case of this one, Example for the strong base, it's alcoholic KOH. Next one, alcoholic NaOH, sodium hydroxide. Next one, soda amide, NaNH2. Next one, it is going to be NaH. So all these particular species are generally referred to as strong bases. Wherever the reaction is proceeding in presence of these particular reagents, usually that particular reaction takes place by what? E2 mechanism. So this is the characteristics applicable for E1 reaction. These are the characteristics applicable for what? E2 reaction. What is the important point related to E1 and in E2 reaction out of all these points? One important point, just I'll highlight that one. The presence of base. What type of base is going to be involved? If it is weak base, it is E1. If it is going to be strong base, it is going to be what? E2 reaction. And wherever there is a formation of carbocation takes place, generally it is called as E1 reaction. And in some exceptional cases, formation of carbocation also takes place in case of E2 reaction. But in most of the cases, there is a formation of transition state. But in some exceptional cases, generally carbocation formation also takes place in case of what? This E2 mechanism also. Now here, whether this particular elimination reaction is related to only alkyl halide, elimination reaction is not related to only alkyl halide. Elimination reaction takes place in all those molecules wherever the particular leaving group is present. Any particular molecule which consists of leaving groups such as it is halide, this is OH. Next one, this is going to be what? N3 plus. Next one, it is going to be N3. Wherever such type of leaving groups are present, all these particular molecules containing such leaving groups undergoes elimination reaction. It is not restricted to only alkyl halide. It is commonly observed in case of alkyl halides because these particular halogens are generally considered as better leaving groups. So we have to discuss about this elimination E1 and E2 reaction with respect to these particular alkyl halides or halogen substituted compounds. So these are the properties with respect to E1 and these are some of the points with respect to what? E2 mechanism. Remember, this is E1 and E2 mechanism. Now in case of the particular alkyl halides or halogen substituted compounds, how to differentiate the E1 and E2? Already we have discussed about differentiation of the particular SN1 and SN2 reaction. In what condition SN1 and in what condition SN2? And another important point related to this particular E1 and E2 reaction is going to be formation of the Sager product, and one more, formation of the Hoffman product. This is very important point. Very important one. Under what condition formation of Sager product takes place? Under what condition formation of Hoffman product takes place? In most of the cases, formation of Sager product takes place since the compound is more stable. But there are some reactions, there are some exceptional cases, there also the formation of Hoffman product takes place. Generally, Sager product is going to be more stable. Sager product is going to be more stable compound when compared to what? This particular Hoffman product. But in some of the examples, the formation of Hoffman product is also taking place, even though it is going to be less stable product, that is going to be obtained in major quantity, and Sager is going to be obtained in case of minor quantity. We will discuss about E1 reaction, example for E1, example for E2, and under what condition Sager product takes place, under what condition Hoffman product takes place. All those things we will discuss in tomorrow's class. So any type of doubts related to this particular mechanism, you can try to communicate with the teachers so that you will be clarifying all those different types of doubts. Okay, thank you.